Come on and cry me a river, cry me a river. I cried a river over you.
Hello everyone and welcome again! We have the article of the day, a very interesting title, I should say. Let's go into it right now, no time to waste. Here we go. Science says silence is much more important to our brains than we think. Written by Rebecca Berries. This is from Lifehack. Let's go. Uh-oh, my music is starting to crash. I'm sorry if there is some technical issues. Yesterday went relatively fine, even though I had my OBS crashing live streaming. Okay, let's go. In 2011, the Finnish Tourist Board ran a campaign that used silence as a marketing product. They sought to entice people to visit Finland and experience the beauty of this silent land. They released a series of photographs of single figures in the nature and used the slogan, "Silence, please." A tagline was added by Simon Anholt, an international country branding consultant. No talking, but action. I hope we have a picture of two of this campaign, please. Eva Kiviranta, the manager of the social media for visitfinland.com, said, "We decide instead of saying that it's really empty and really quiet and nobody is talking about anything here, let's embrace it and make it a good thing." Positive reframe, cool. Finland may be onto something very big. You could be seeing the very beginnings of using silence as a selling point, as silence may be becoming more and more attractive. As the world around becomes increasingly loud and cluttered, you might find yourself seeking out the reprieve that silence, I don't know what reprieve means, but let's continue. The reprieve that silent places and silence have to offer. This may be a wise move, as studies are showing that silence is much more important to your brains than you might think. Regenerate brain cells may be just a matter of silence. A 2013 study on mice published in the journal Brain, Structure and Function used different types of noise and silence and monitored the effect the sound and silence had on the brains of the mice. The silence was intended to be the control in the study, but what they found was surprising, yes. The scientists discovered that when the mice were exposed to 2 hours of silence per day, they developed new cells in the hippocampus. The hippocampus is a region of the brain associated with memory, emotion, and learning. Wow, what a combo for the hippocampus. The growth of new cells in the brain does not necessarily translate to tangible health benefits. However, in this instance, researcher Imke Christe says that the cells appear to become functioning neurons. That's a good thing. We saw that silence is really helping the new generated cells to differentiate into neurons and integrate it into the system. In this sense, silence can quite literally grow your brain. The brain is actively internalizing and evaluating information during silence. A 2001 study defined a default mode of brain function that showed that even when the brain was resting, it was perpetually active, internalizing and evaluating information. Yeah, just like when we sleep. That is a sleep function too, for the brain to reorganize the day of memory, the new information of the day, and so on, right? Follow-up research found that the default mode is also used during the process of self-reflection. In 2013, in Frontiers in Human Neuroscience, Joseph Moran et al. Wrote, "The brain's default mode network is observed most closely during the psychological task of reflecting on one's personalities and characteristics, self-reflection, rather than during self-recognition, thinking of the self-concept or thinking about self-esteem, for example." When the brain rests, it is able to integrate internal and external information into a conscious workspace, said Moran and colleagues. When you are not distracted by noise or goal-oriented tasks, there appears to be a quiet time that allows your conscious workspace to process things. During these periods of silence, your brain has the freedom it needs to discover its place in your internal and external world. Cool. Almost poetic. The default mode helps you think about profound things in an imaginative way. As Herman Melville once wrote, "All profound things and emotions of things are preceded and attended by silence." Silence relieves stress and tension. It has been found that noise can have a pronounced physical effect on our brains, resulting in elevated levels of stress hormones. Cortisol, I guess? The sound waves reach the brain as electrical signals via the ear. The body reacts to these signals even if it is sleeping. It is thought that the amygdala, located in the temporal lobe of the brain, which is associated with memory formation and emotion, is activated, and this causes a release of stress hormones. If you live in a constantly noisy environment, that you are likely to experience chronically elevated levels of stress hormones. A study that was published in 2002 in Psychological Science, Volume 13, Number 9, examined the effects that the relocation of Munich Airport had on children's health and cognition. Gary W. Evans, a professor of human ecology at Cornell University, notes that children who are exposed to noise developed a stress response that causes them to ignore the noise. Yeah, maybe a solution for tinnitus or tinnitus. What is of interest is that these children not only ignored harmful stimuli, they also ignored stimuli that they should be paying attention to, such as speed. Yeah, I think the second pollution problem in Europe is noise pollution. And you have biological problems and psychological problems. Not only stress in your brain or cortisol in your brain, also cardiac arrest, cardiac problem from the heart, cardiac problems, and even liver or something like that. So the organs are also affected, other organs aside the brain. This study is among the strongest, probably the most definitive proof of that noise, even at levels that do not produce any hearing damage, causes stress and is harmful to humans. Yeah, usually the strong noise has short effects. No, sorry. The strong noise has long-lasting negative effects. And the low... Oh, I don't remember, sorry. Silence seems to have the opposite effect of the brain to noise. While noise may cause stress and tension, silence releases tension in the brain and body. A study published in the journal Heart discovered that 2 minutes of silence can prove to be even more relaxing than listening to a relaxing music. They based these findings of changes they noticed in blood pressure and blood circulation in the brain. Cool. Silence replenishes our cognitive resources. The effect that noise pollution can have on cognitive task performance has been extensively studied. It has been found that noise harms task performance at work and school. It can also be the cause of decreased motivation and an increase in error making. The cognitive functions most strongly affected by noise are reading attention, memory, and problem solving. That makes a lot of sense. Studies have also concluded that children exposed to households or classrooms near airplane flight paths, railways or highways have lower reading scores and are slower in their development of cognitive and language skills. But it is not all bad news. It is possible for the brain to restore its finite cognitive resources. According to the attention restoration theory, when you are in an environment with lower levels of sensory input, the brain can recover some of its cognitive abilities. In silence, the brain is able to let down its sensory guard and restore some of what has been lost through excess noise. Summation. Traveling to Finland might just well be on your list of things to do. There you may find the silence you need to help your brain. Or, if Finland is a bit out of reach for now, you could simply take a quiet walk in a peaceful place in your neighborhood. This might prove to do you and your brain a world of good. Okay, that's all. And now I have to go to work. So, I thank you very much for being here and see you the next one. And what we have for the next one maybe is... Oh, what if the real drive of your health isn't genes or diet, but energy flow? A Columbia researcher argues that everything from stress to aging comes down to how energy moves through your body. Cool, by Jasha Hodzic. Ooh, maybe tomorrow or maybe later. I don't know. But see you the next one. Have a nice one too. Goodbye.